Thank you, Mike. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm calling today's ORDA meeting to order. It is Friday the 19th. It's 1:02 p.m. Thank you all for attending. We're welcoming board members in person and remotely via video conference. Welcome to everybody. And also to the viewing public, thank you for joining us today. As always, the meeting is being videotaped. A link to the video will be posted on the Olympic Authority website following the meeting. And as we start today's items, I'll remind everybody to please speak as clearly as possible to identify yourselves each time you speak to make a motion. The agenda is included in your committee package. In the absence of Renee, Ed, would you call the roll?
Yes. Joe Martens.
Present.
Bill Beanie.
Here.
Jen Holderreed.
Here.
Steve Hunt.
Here.
Betty Little.
Here.
Art Lucy.
Here.
Diane Monroe.
Here.
Chris Pushkarsh.
Here.
Joe Zalewski.
Here.
Eleanor Tatum.
Here.
Billy
Mike.
Jones.
Here.
Gigi Lozo, excuse
Here.
me.
Louisa. Yep.
That's everybody.
Okay. Full, we not only have a quorum, I think we have full attendance, which is great. So the first item for committee action, board action on the agenda is the approval of meeting minutes. Could I have a motion approving the minutes of our last meeting held on June 27th, 2025?
So moved. Diane.
Moved by Diane,
Second.
seconded by Jen.
I have
Any
a
discussion?
couple one correction. I wanted to make the minutes amended to reflect that I acknowledged Cliff Donaldson's tremendous service to the board, and I wasn't sure until last night. It was 27 years. And I just thought after the minutes show the welcoming to Billy and Gigi, that the minutes should reflect that Cliff was acknowledged at our last meeting.
Great. Any further discussion? So with Art's addition to those minutes, could I have a vote in favor, please?
Aye.
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 To approve as amended, correct?
Pardon me?
To approve as amended.
To approve as amended, yes. Any opposed? Any abstentions? I will abstain. I was absent from the last board meeting. Motion carries with one abstention. The next item on the agenda is the audit committee report, which I will report on. The audit committee was the time for the renewal after a 5-year contract. It had been with EFPR. We solicited bids and proposals. Multiple firms got responses, I believe, from 5, and Adam will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think 5 firms replied. 4 firms replied. Thank you. We had an internal committee consisting of myself, Ron, and staff on the finance team that reviewed all of the proposals and ranked them. We had a ranking sheet, and I think all of that has been included in the board package. See how we ranked them. We decided after reviewing the proposals that we would interview 2 firms. The first is EFPR, the firm that has provided auditing services to the authority for the last 5 years, and a firm from New York City. They were very sort of contrasting. All of the audit proposals were fairly similar. They were all extremely responsive to all of the governmental requirements, paying attention to, again, both federal and state rules that apply to audits for New York State entities. There was a fairly wide range of price proposals. These 2, EFPR was the lowest on price, and I think that was obviously very persuasive to us, given that most of the other attributes were similar firm to firm, although I think EFPR had an advantage in that they had been providing audit services, not only to us, but a lot of New York State entities. And that was another sort of differentiating point between them and other firms. All, I think, excellent proposals. We interviewed them, again, at a standard set of questions during the interview process. We all independently ranked them and then compared the ranking afterwards and recommended that we, the recommendation to the board is to reauthorize a contract with EFPR for another 5 years. That will be reviewed after the first year, and we could choose to change course, but if we, provided we're satisfied with their performance, we can extend it for 5 years. They were the lowest on price, and again, they were extremely responsive during the interview process and were independently ranked. I think I've covered most of what we discussed in the committee meeting, and if you have any questions or comments, I'm happy to answer, or Adam can fill in. Diane?
What, if anything, would be a flag at the end of a year that we might want to rethink the contract?
So Ron can jump in, but I think things like, responsiveness, we are on a very strict timetable. And that was a question for all of them, is how do you keep to a strict timetable? Because by law, we are required to submit or have an audit completed by, I forget the date, but
the 15th, I think, of June.
15th of June. So every one of the firms sort of backed up from there and says, we have to hit these milestones. So if a firm was not being responsive, if we were raising questions and they weren't getting back to us, that's the kind of thing that I think would immediately send a red flag up. I think that by and large is the answer to your question. If they're not being responsive to us and keeping us on a timetable that gets us to compliance with the law, that would be a red flag.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Welcome.
Joe,
Jen.
the person doing the review, has it been the same person every year for the past 5 years?
The person in charge, but that has to change. The internal team is required by auditing federal requirements to change the principal in the firm. So the staff will be rotating.
That was my hope, that it was going to be a fresh set of eyes looking.
Yep. And that's another thing. I mean, I think a lot of the discussion was the benefits of having a completely new firm come in and look at us, which I think there is a benefit to, sort of offsetting that as the experience of EFPR and the fact that they have to rotate the team. So there will be a fresh set of eyes, but they obviously will have the benefit of all of the
History.
staff work done in the past.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the executive committee report, who I will also provide. The two items on the executive committee are, as required by the executive committee, a review of the 2025-26 proposed ORDA budget and the 5-year financial plan. Those were all included in your board package. I don't think there's anything extraordinary there. I think one of the questions that came up was, if you look at the capital, the proposal for the 5-year capital plan, it looks very heavily front-loaded. I think that's a timing issue. Projects that haven't been completed in the current year get rolled over into the next year, so that it's not that we're asking for more money, it's that we're using prior year's appropriations to complete jobs that were started, say, this year. Not any significant changes or alterations to the budget itself. The other item which I asked about was the very modest proposed increase in staff of about 15 people from prior years. Ashley, I'll let you handle that question again, because I think that's of interest to us, but I would note that the staff increase is modest. It is by and large because we've added new facilities. We've got new operations coming at ORDA, at Gore Mountain. more year-round activities, clearly, which all need to be staffed, but I'll let Ashley elaborate on that point.
And two pieces of what we covered in the executive committee earlier was that over the past 18 months, we have added additional staff, particularly at the venues, to support the venues, support the broadening of the number of activities and the year-round operations. But we've gotten ourselves set up in a pretty good spot. We do have the ski bowl coming online, which is a new building, a new zip coaster, and with an increase in infrastructure, and that's also going to drive quite a bit. We'll cover in the president's report of additional year-round business at Gore. There's a need to be able to accommodate that, but we've been modest in it and really been taking a look at, you know, what our current needs are, what our plan for growth are, and making sure that we're accommodating that in the future plans.
Thanks, Ashley. So, yeah, I'm going to turn it over for questions now. Billy, go.
There are 15 that are coming on in the next.
Proposed, projected to come online here in a phased-in approach.
And this is all projected, by the way. This is, we're required to submit a budget plan by law. We submit it, obviously, goes through a whole process internally in Albany. The budget will come out sometime in early January, presumably, gets acted on by the
Proposed budget.
Yes,
proposed, but
all subject
to the
to
legislature. Yeah,
approval.
by the governor's office and then ultimately the legislature. So this is a requirement on the public authority that we submit now. It's our projection, but it's going to be reviewed by lots of eyes going forward from here.
Now, you referenced Gore Mountain specifically. 15 additional? Did I hear 15?
Yes, but not specific to Gore. That's just one of the examples of.
Okay, good.
additional.
So that's across the whole organization.
Yes. Other questions? Okay, so we're going to move on to the president's report. I'm going to turn it over to Ashley.
Good, thanks, Mike. Okay, we're going to start with a recap of the summer activities at the venues. So as we discussed a minute ago, we are expanding year-round operations and adding additional activities to each of the venues. So Whiteface Mountain continues to see extensive growth in the summertime. They offer gondola rides. They also have the scenic highway with the Veterans Memorial Highway. And then there's access to a number of activities. We'll see some here in a moment throughout the mountain, and they do also host events. Just want to highlight that the highway continues to be the leader of all of their summer activities, and we saw an additional year-to-date at the moment is 7% increase over last year's visitation, and that's right as we're heading into the busiest time with the foliage for the highway. So.
Didn't you do a shuttle? Is that new?
Thank you. Yes. So this year we started in June. We ran a shuttle which goes from Whiteface Mountain proper, and it runs on a 2-hour basis, and it goes up the highway, offering people the opportunity to sit and relax and enjoy the view, not have to actually drive themselves. They then get about 60 to 90 minutes at the top before they're brought back down. It's something that we will continue to push and expand upon. It has been popular. And it's also for us a sustainability initiative as we want to start to cut down on the number of vehicles that are going up and down the highway.
Great.
It's a terrific idea and probably long overdue, but congratulations on that. Having a long line of traffic idling at the gateway to go up the Whiteface Highway has always troubled me. It's a waste of resources, it's additional air pollutants, and having a shuttle system just makes a hell of a lot more sense, especially after having driven of it and, smelling my brakes after the down.
Yes.
Multiply that by every car that's going up the mountain, and it's much more efficient use of resources.
So just one shuttle, or do you do it every hour from Whiteface?
Every 2 hours. Right now, it's a booking system every 2 hours. This was the launch of the program. We will continue and expand it next year. We are looking at adding additional buses to the fleet to be able to do so. In the future, we are looking at sustainable EVs or propane fueled buses to be running. The other
Right.
part to mention on the shuttles is that there's limited parking at the top of the highway. We obviously have ample parking at Whiteface proper, so it allows plenty of parking, less congestion up and down the highway. And on the really busy days when traffic is backed up, it eliminates that. The buses do go around the traffic line.
Do we use, are they different shuttles than what Whiteface uses in the wintertime, or some of the same, or?
So this was a new bus that we got this year to
Okay.
run the shuttle. It
Yeah.
will operate to run the parking.
Great,
Sometimes we've leased buses. This is an owned vehicle that we'll use year round.
because I learned from when I worked with NYSEF that their vans would run the whole winter, but then when they sat the whole summer, it was really bad for the
Yeah.
braking systems. So this keeps the,
I'm not sure the highway is great for the braking system.
well, no, but it just keeps their,
Keeps it moving, yeah.
yes, exactly.
Yeah. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
So Gore Mountain operates on a limited scale with summer activities currently. They have mountain biking, hiking, gondola rides, and then they have a few events. One of the most popular ones that we had this year was a car show. You know, a big push with the ski bowl is the year-round operations and the additional activities. The zip coaster, zipline adventure that will be coming online the summer of 2026 will add that additional activity for them to expand and base out of the ski bowl. So lots of positive activity here and excitement as ski bowl comes online.
Ashley, just,
Yeah.
am I correct that when you start the summer activities, there'll be nothing at the top of the mountain, or they're not competing with each other, are they?
They won't be competing with each other.
Okay, thank you.
Bel Air Mountain has a whole host of summer activities. They've really expanded their array. They operate the beach, and interestingly, the beach is not just a summer activity. It's not just a daytime activity. They also do movies at the beach, so they'll do nighttime activities where they set up a projection screen and have 4 or 5 different showings of movies throughout the summer. They do gondola rides as well, Friday night concerts, community events. One thing to note on all of the summer activities for the mountains is that it's not just the admissions that we're seeing, but it's also the increased revenues generated through retail and also awareness of the venues. And we see additional season pass sales for the winter just based on the awareness and the visitors that are coming there that may not have even known about it before. So particularly at Bel Air, we saw 2 years ago that the start of the Friday night concerts, which is a free concert held, and saw about 1,000 guests each of those evenings, really increased the retail and the season pass sales. So the Olympic Center, a lot of people think of the Olympic Center as a wintertime indoor skating only facility, but they really don't have a downtime. They have year-round activities, indoor and outdoor, that keeps them quite busy. Some of the programs to highlight here are speed skating programs. We ran throughout the summer Learn to Skate programs. There was a host of events from figure skating to women's hockey. We also have the curling programs are super popular. It's an opportunity for people to come as an individual or a group, receive a curling lesson, and get to try it. You know, most people haven't had the opportunity to try it firsthand. Those generally sell out each of the sessions. From an outside activity side, this year, the Lake Placid Farmers Market moved to the Oval. So that was every Wednesday throughout the summer. Our conference center business was really busy throughout the spring, summer, and now into the fall season. And we've seen an increase in women's hockey. So the U.S. women's hockey team held their camp here in August. And we're also this year going to be highlighting the addition of the ECAC women's hockey tournament. So lots of activity at the Olympic Center as well.
I think that the women's junior team was here as well as the
I believe it
main
was the
team.
women's junior team.
Yeah.
So they were here last year as well.
Ashley, did you say concerts?
Concerts? No, at the Olympic Center?
Yeah.
No concerts yet. We have done comedy acts, magic, illusionist.
I see the crowd.
That's the conference center, so that's a conference.
Oh, okay.
Not exactly sure which conference, but,
The New York Conference of Mayors was here this week.
Mhm.
Example, the place was packed.
and sometimes there's several in a week. It just depends on the scheduling and the size of the conference, but
Has there been growth in that arena?
absolutely.
That's what I thought.
Going on now, it's gonna wait, but the Olympic Center, I guess I'm dating myself, but there used to be like concerts, and I remember coming up here as a younger person or a kid, going to concerts, and it was kind of on the tour of many promotional people. And I remember watching the Harlem Globetrotters here. Does that not happen anymore just because of our venue is full, or is it, we just got out of that?
So I think it's on the radar to bring back, I think coming out of the renovations. Also, it's something that depending on the level of the act needs to be booked pretty far in advance. There is interest to bring that back and just ensuring that we select a good starting point
Okay.
and
I just remember as a kid, I mean, promoter, you would go
There's
to Lake Placid for a concert, no matter what the act was. I didn't know if it was a deal with the promoters just kind of shied away from it, or it was.
no, there is interest from our side and from promoters. It's just selecting the right time and
So
an opportunity.
Art will correct me, I'm sure, or Bill, but it seems like there is also some sensitivity to the type of act. In the past, I think some of the concerts might have not have gone over so well with the local community, again, depending on
Rambunctious around the
Yeah.
village. Yeah.
guys like yourself.
I behaved myself. I was
So
young.
obviously sensitivity to local
I think,
type of acts.
Okay.
had to kick him
I
out.
didn't know, were there issues?
I think there was years ago.
Yes,
Yes, yeah. Okay.
we won't name names.
Just looking at, putting people in,
Like, I give you an example. Shania Twain was a home run. It was a
Yeah.
great community event, but then there was a couple, maybe a little more progressive bands that introduced a different type clientele to our community that was not well received.
all right.
And I should
Question answered.
I should also mention that inline skating was started last year, and that has grown, seen a 34% increase in admissions with inline skating. So outside on the oval, particular times and days, you're able to rent inline skates and skate on the oval surface.
So those things, are they roller blades?
Yeah.
Like, no.
Mount Van Hoven and the Olympic Jumping Complex has a full schedule of activities. A lot of them are largely sports related, tying to their facilities. With the mountain coaster being offline due to the construction at Mount Van Hovenberg, the team did a great job at adding additional offerings. There's a Learn Biathlon, a Learn Luge program. They have at the jumping complex, the ski jump with the elevator, the zip line is running throughout the summer. They do venue tours at both locations and a host of community events throughout the year. All of those activities are very guest focused, and they are in addition to the training and competition opportunities that happen on a daily basis for the athletes. There was a focus across all of the venues on fitness events. So each of them hosted a different type of fitness activity. Some of them would be on a weekly basis. Some were a event that happened one time throughout the summer. Whiteface Mountain every Tuesday and Sunday offers yoga at the top of the mountain. So it's a gondola ride to the top of the mountain that you see here, and a 60-minute yoga class. Each of the other mountains, Bel Air hosted a Climate for Climate race, and the Whiteface Uphill, which is both running and biking, took place this year again. And Gord hosted a Peak to Brew relay race that crossed the facility. So quite a bit of fitness-related activities, which ties back into our mission and our mandate.
I want to add, there was one that I found fascinating. It was basically run till you drop.
Last man standing.
last man standing.
Yes.
And I was so impressed with this jockey from Saratoga. He just shocked the world and beat everyone because he got a concussion riding horses and said he had to channel his energy somewhere else. And I think he went over 28 hours and you had to run 4 miles.
Miles in an hour. It started at the top of each hour. You could run 4 miles as fast as slow as you wanted, but you had to start every hour. And it kept going and going until people dropped out and last man standing won.
They had to run 4 miles every hour.
Every hour.
Did it for 28 hours? Okay.
It might be even
And
more.
that was at Mount Van Hovenberg. I don't know if we said
Yeah,
that, but so it started at 9 o'clock and it went well through the night and into the next day.
Yeah, circle back, Bel Air is, Mountain Jam was, I think, fairly successful for a first try. Is there any conversation about that being back?
There's discussion about it. You know, we're looking, back at the impact, positive or negative on the mountain, the region.
And the region.
Getting impact before making.
Takes a while, okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
And I think the structure would be differently if we do so. Right. A little preview into the season pass. So our season pass sales launched in April. This year there was a shift in the format. So there was the early cutoff, which historically has been in early August, was bumped up to May. The idea was to incentivize either new pass holders or recurring pass holders to buy the products earlier. We did see success in that. The second cutoff, pass deadline cutoff, was in August. Currently, we are, from a year-over-year perspective, we have sold 1,300 more passes than this time last year. And so that's over 24,000 passes at the moment across all 3 of the resorts, which really is a positive trend for us. Seeing the ski industry, it's currently tracking as a steady, it's kind of plateaued a bit. There was quite a bit of peak in the ski industry coming out of COVID, but that has leveled off. Yet we are still seeing significant increase in our day ticket and our pass holders. So that's a positive trend for us.
You said we've, at this time, we're how far ahead?
1,300 passes. 1,300 passes ahead of where we were at this time last year. Yeah. And that's over 24,000 passes at the moment.
Right, okay.
Ashley, is there that national ski pass that are included in? Has that?
Yeah. You're getting ahead of my slides.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're yes. And I think that has been, so of these 10 perk passes that we see here, some season pass holder gets a number of different offerings to the venues, winter and summertime. There's discounts for retail, food and beverage, admission into summertime event and wintertime events. And the number 10 bucket that you can't read here is the addition of the Mountain Collective Pass, which is what Betty mentioned. It is a pass for our Ski 3 holders. So this year we entered into cooperations with 2 separate products, each of them representing a different side of the ski market. So Mountain Collective is really for, the kind of diehard skier that likes to ski at larger mountains and travel. So Whiteface was added to Mountain Collective. It's important to note that this cooperation with Mountain Collective benefits all of our season pass holders. So those with a Ski 3 pass now are able to get 50% off of a day ticket at any of the other Mountain Collective. And the Mountain Collective is an international ticket. So there are locations across, there's some in Australia, there's Canada, Europe. So, excuse me, quite a bit of coverage and an added benefit to our season pass holders. And this is helping us too on a promotion side because Whiteface is now being included and promoted by Mountain Collective. And we do expect to see quite a few skiers that may not have otherwise found themselves to Whiteface. They're skiing and activating their pass. So the Mountain Collective at the moment has over 41,000 passes or pass holders. And the Mountain Collective Pass allows those pass holders 2 days of skiing at the 27 participating resorts. So a different product that we are now participating with, and then giving added benefit to our season pass holders. On the other end of the spectrum is the Snow Triple Play, which is a new product this year, and it is tailored more towards the introductory skier. So those that may have, kind of been the curious skier, they've been to maybe a few local mountains or smaller mountains and are interested in expanding. So again, a new product this year. All 3 of our mountains are included in it. And it gives if somebody purchases the Snow Triple Play product, they get access to 3-day tickets. And there's currently 15 resorts that are participating in it. So really we're looking at, on the Snow Triple Play, of increasing the amount of skiers or getting those participants that are somewhat interested, and hoping to offer them new experiences and make them lifelong skiers, while also with the Mountain Collective working on the other end and trying to have skiers that want to travel and have new experiences over to mountains.
Can we get a list of those 15?
I can, and they're mostly Northeast, and they're really regional to here.
Okay.
It was started out of Mountain Creek, and Big Snow is the indoor facility in New Jersey that sees a lot of first-time skiers. So it's really a product to help grow the sport, and they're all Northeast.
Any in our collective area that complain about us all the time? Like Titus and West Mountain?
I'll have to get you a list. I don't have the full list, but I do know that they are local to the Northeast, and
Some of those smaller mountains are on it.
are on the Snow Triple Play.
Yeah, I think I remember looking at that when I saw it.
And brand new this year, so I do expect that the participation from other resorts in the area will grow.
Yeah.
Just
Like-
on the Mountain Collective.
Yep.
That was something I believe we had to change a law to
Correct.
do. I guess I'm wearing my ORDA hat, but putting that in perspective, there were other mountains, local regions that were looking to get into this through a different source, I guess. So I'm always cognizant, I guess, being president here of having our little privately owned mountains be a part of this. And they will tell you when Whiteface does well, we tend to do well, and we want to be, for lack of a better word, a feeder to a Whiteface. But I think we should look at that, because from what I'm hearing, the Mountain Collective doesn't capture those smaller private mountains around.
It does not. It's a different product, and it's a different.
That's what I'm hearing.
It's a different size and scale. So, and that's why we're balanced out here with the Snow Triple Play, which is really focused on working with the smaller.
Do they have the opportunity to get into Snow Triple Play?
Yes. Yeah. And again, it's just launched this year. So I would expect to see growth there, but that opportunity would be there. And just to note, the legislation that we went through, regardless of the past direction, would have been necessary for either one.
Yeah, I knew that, but that was, I'm very cognizant of our smaller privately, who do support Whiteface and ORDA, but they would like to be into that mix of getting skiers and partnering with Whiteface.
We would hear from them all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they did get money from the state one year. So Malone got it.
From who?
They got
I know.
from the state. It was started out at $2 million, and they had so many requests that they increased it. And it was for better, more efficient, less energy use, snowmaking machines. And it really worked for this, and it worked for West, and those were the only two I was worried about. So,
The two that are most proximate are Plattekill, and that's in and Oak Mountain.
They probably got it too.
Right, and, but I am grateful for these two moves, for us as diehards, and Ski 3 buyers. We are already planning some opportunities, which gets all of us out of the way at a pretty crowded ski center, so that's a good thing. I want to also celebrate the smaller mountains and say whenever Bel Air has a lot of overflow, Platic Hill wins. And I'm glad for that because I want us all to win. And I think we continue to do what we can to be good partners in the industry while also fulfilling our mission. So I think this is a really good step. And I know a lot of hard work went into it. So I want to thank all of the people that worked on that because it got complicated and you stuck with it. So I'm appreciative and I think it'll be good for everyone.
Yeah, and really, I started skiing at 45 and I did not start at Whiteface or Gore.
Right.
You know, I
Right.
think it was Alpine Meadows, which has since closed, but yeah, that's where you start and that's where you get that incentive to keep going to it. So,
Can I ask one question on the season passes before we move forward?
Yeah.
Ashley, you mentioned a growth of a little bit of growth compared to the flatness of the industry. Is there any mountain in particular who shows stronger growth so we can think about why that is and maybe spread it across the other mountains? Or has there been a little, I guess, digging deeper into that number that could be helpful as we move along and figure out what to do with other places to increase that number?
Yeah, so the Bel Air has shown the fastest growth in the season pass.
Yeah,
Last year,
I didn't know
yeah, there's been quite a bit of increase in the number of season pass sales, and that has grown much faster than the other mountains. Gore continues to be have the most amount of season pass holders, although Bel Air is getting close to that number. There's a number of factors that play into it. I think there's some of the other mountains in the Catskills area that shifted business models, I think has changed maybe some of the guest visitation. So that certainly the investments at Bel Air have helped to increase it. The proximity to, metropolitan areas, I think a more effort on marketing Bel Air has helped. Gore gets quite a bit from just because of their drive time and they're a very large ski area, where Whiteface sees smaller numbers, but sees a lot more from a vacation standpoint because it is more remote than the others when we talk about drive time and accessibility. So there's a lot of factors that play into it, but certainly something that we do, evaluate. We do customer surveys. We're always looking to see if there's correlations between the growth or on the other side, a decline in one area, and if there's any trends that we could learn and apply to other venues.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
I would just comment that I was a little skeptical of Mountain Collective if it was going to include Gore and Bel Air because of Gore and Bel Air have been extremely busy already on weekends. And it's like, why would we give a deal to people when you're already busy? And so I think I applaud the ORDA team for choosing Whiteface that is not as busy as Gore and Bel Air on weekends to give it a shot and see how it works.
And my understanding is the Mountain Collective people wanted Whiteface. It's an Olympic mountain. It's an attractive mountain. It's a destination, and Lake Placid benefits, and we all benefit. It just worked. The structure of it has worked really well, and I'm looking forward to it.
And I think the other side of it too is that it was important to us that it included value to all of the Ski 3 pass holders, so that it wasn't seen as just a Whiteface focused product. So a Ski 3 pass holder that lives in the Catskills can still get the benefit of going to those Mountain Collective resorts and getting 50% off the ticket price. With the increase in visitation and season pass holders, we're also looking at being able to accommodate them and keep a quality level of service. So the North Creek Ski Bowl, which is set to be near completion here, is a great way for us to help accommodate the additional increase that we're seeing and provide that level of quality that we want to our customers. So while the lodge itself, it will be opening here shortly. Last year, we did open the Hudson Chair, so it's the new high-speed quad that connects the ski bowl to the main part of the mountain. This lift has really changed the whole dynamic of the mountain. It has really, the idea all along was to connect North Creek to the mountain, and it has done so. And we saw just in the short amount of time that it was open through its first season, how that has already started to move in a positive direction. So, and that's from the winter side. The zipline adventure system coming online in July is also going to be a huge addition. And that on the bottom photo here to the right side, that the building with the most amount of siding that you see, that's actually where the start and the finish of that zipline adventure system will be. So the guests will go, the riders will go out of the building, up across the mountain, through the forest, and back in the other side of the building. So it's really something that's centered right there in the ski bowl from a start and end standpoint, and was designed with, you know, operational efficiency in mind. So how many people does it take to actually operate it? How can we ensure that we're building something that's going to be sustainable for the future? So,
And it's going to deposit them right in the retail shop, right?
Kind of like when you go to a museum and you can't get out with it.
Just kidding, just kidding. Sorry.
And just if I could, in 1986, I was elected to the Warren County Board of Supervisors, and Sterling Goodspeed's father, Sterling Goodspeed Sr., he was retiring, but he just reminded me each and every time I saw him that despite the fact that the ski area was up on the mountain and doing very well, nobody knew that the town was down here and had businesses and restaurants, and they were getting no benefit from it, and that we had to develop the ski bowl. And so that's a long time ago. But the fact that this is going to open, there are a couple of flaws that the town has got to get moving on so that we can invite people in and have bathrooms that operate. So, but it's fabulous. It's all the summer activities will be there, and it's just it's a remarkable thing for Warren County, and it's a remarkable thing for North Creek, despite the fact some of them don't think so.
It will become believers.
and it does have a restaurant. It has retail.
It's lovely.
We'll have lockers for the skiers in the winter, and then again to the side is the zip line adventure system. So really quite a bit in what a fairly small footprint.
Well, I'm guessing it's a real bother for you guys, but it might be nice to have a board meeting down there.
Thank you.
It might be really nice to have a board meeting down there sometime.
Yeah.
Off season as you find, because I just feel like we're doing this really good work, and I just think it would be really good.
Or in season.
Yeah, in season's good. Tell everybody else, just close it off for us for an hour, and we'll ski the rest.
We can find a space. Looking at quite a bit of work across the venues from capital project side. So 2 new lifts going in this summer, one being the Top Bridge replacement at Gore.
Thank goodness.
Top Bridge is a much larger, the second is the Little Whiteface at Whiteface Mountain. Top Bridge is a much larger project that will be done end of October, early November, where we do anticipate the Whiteface lift to be complete this month. So quite a bit of work going on. The timing of these projects is really important at both Gore and at Whiteface. We're within the realm of where there's Bicknell thrush and they nest above 2,800 feet. So a lot of the work, no work can happen above 2,800 feet until August 1st. So, the timing of these projects is really important. There's quite a bit that goes into them. New foundations, a lot of times because of the remote areas, they'll have to fly helicopters put the concrete in for the foundations, and then fly the towers. So a lot of work, a lot of planning, but we're able to do so and have them, take down the old lift, install the new one, and have it ready for the next season. So
I just want to say too, the social media team for White Base, they've been doing an unbelievable job documenting this.
doing this, yeah.
It's one of, it like gets you very excited about it, and the pictures are awesome.
It's great to hear, and I mean, it's a really interesting process that has to go through. So I'm glad that people are seeing it and understanding what's involved in it. Down at Bel Air, the Discovery Lodge construction is coming closer to completion. It will be ready for the opening of the season in November. The kitchen area you can see on the left is almost done. They've got the video screens up and ready. On the top right is the expansion of the food service area. And on the bottom left, just an outside view of it. What is in green on the left that doesn't have the siding yet is the main entrance. You'll enter then into the rental area. Previously, there will be ticketing and then rental further beyond it. Before the start of this project, all of the rental was done in an auxiliary building and a fabric building outside. So the idea was to expand the indoor space, particularly the food service, and bring the rental into the building. So this puts all of it together, a delayed project, but one that we are very excited to be able to open for the start of the season.
How many more square feet in the non-rental area? Upstairs.
I wouldn't want to give you an inaccurate number, so.
I'll go for a walk.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we will, I can get you some more detail on it, but what's this top right-hand corner, that space when you're in it, it's large.
It's almost, it feels like it's almost as much space as the current main room, which is going to be really important.
Bar area, yeah.
Yeah. Great.
And I'd just like to, actually, I'm going to go back to this for a moment. I'd just like to say, the Bel Air team has done an incredible job this summer. Last summer and this summer, there was a tremendous amount of construction disruption to the venue. They came up with a good plan, section off the construction area and continue to run their activities. So Friday night concerts, their regular daily activities. They didn't really take any breaks here. They kept charging forward, and just, hats off to them for the adversity they went through there. Overlook Lodge, which is the mid-lodge mountain and a very historic lodge, is currently under construction as well. You can see in the small top right-hand corner, the original logs with some of the dormers and expansions that are being put in. Those needed additional trusses and support systems. Those are now in place, allowing them to continue to build and expand off the backside. This is where our Overlook Club and our seasonal lockers are held. We currently are putting seasonal lockers in a building just to the side to ensure that we will be able to open with all of our seasonal lockers in place. And this likely will allow us the opportunity to expand that. But a really, really neat, really, historic building, and one that was important for us to preserve. That obviously comes with challenges, and along the way with older buildings, there was lots of, unforeseen circumstances, but we've been through them, and now this is getting quite a bit of attention, and we'll be looking to have this complete this season. So we have an extensive project going on at Mount Van Hovenberg. The modernizations that are underway, the replacement of the refrigeration infrastructure, which was the original infrastructure from 1978. So the bottom right-hand corner there, that is the new refrigeration building. It is just to the side of the existing one. Some of the chillers and other components that were there were newer, so we're reusing those, making sure that we're being efficient with the use of which components we can while also modernizing it. So that part of the project is progressing quite quickly. We had to replace a number of the refrigeration pipes throughout the actual course. Another large project that's underway too is the roof structures. So you'll see the roof structures in wood there are the new, and the white is the was the previous, or in some places, the existing structures. One of the ideas with the roof structures is that it integrates all of the lighting. There was the inability for us to control the intensity and the sectioning of the lighting. So this is all new LED lighting that we're able to dim. So we can have safe lighting for the athletes, but also dim the lighting for when we have our crew working. So we're excited about that part of it. It'll help us from an energy efficiency. It also keeps the lighting facing down and not shining, because it was quite prevalent from other areas outside when the previous lighting was on.
It's from our night sky
Yep.
advisors.
I get,
So with lighting, we have a number of themed lightings, and this is something that we would be able to do at Van Hovenberg with the new lighting. So the photos here, 4th of July, Canada Day, we had Labor Day, and September 11th. So we do illuminations, and most of these are done across the state with other facilities and celebrate or just highlight different holidays throughout the year. Darcy and the communications team has been really busy, and we've seen a ton of coverage from all of our events, from our mountains. We've got a lot of previews about what's upcoming this season, particularly with our new passes coming online, and also a ton of attention with adding the UCI event and adding the downhill to the event this year. So also the Lake Placid Figure Skating Championships gets quite a bit of coverage, as that's an annual event that we host each year. So a lot of exposure, a lot of great media across the board. All right, so looking forward to our upcoming events, UCI is returning to Mount Van Hovenberg, and then with the addition of Whiteface, so October 3rd to 5th, we will have the downhill race going on Thursday and Friday, and then we have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday over at Mount Van Hovenberg. So really a very cool event, and just a few things to highlight. So there's 20 teams that are competing at each of the venues, so at the downhill and the cross country. What's different and unique about this event over some of the other World Cup competitions that we do is that the athletes are not representing the countries that they're from. They're actually on a team, on a professional team. There are international riders, so New Zealand, Sweden, Chile, France, Austria, and the US and Canada. And the US and Canada right now on the downhill side are battling for the World Cup overall. But in addition to the professional riders, there's also a fun junior, it's called the Grind Junior Cross Country, that is on Saturday at Mount Van Hovenberg. So everything from racers aged 8 to 20 have the opportunity to try their hand at a lower level of the course. And next year will be the 3rd year of our contract for the event, and it will also be the World Cup final of this event. Skate America. So Skate America is returning to the Olympic Center November 14th to 16th. This is an amazing event. It's traditionally the first stop on the Grand Prix Tour, and it hosts the top skaters from across the world, including U.S. champions, world championships, Olympic medalists. And it's a 3-day competition, and it has men's and women's pairs and ice dance throughout the 3 days. The very first Skate America, Lake Placid hosted Skate America for the first time in 1979. This will be the 6th time that it has been in Lake Placid, and this time was in 2017. So it's also not often that we're able to host it in an Olympic year. So it does have live coverage on NBC, and we expect quite a bit of media and marketing around this, with it being an Olympic season. The ticket sales are already quite strong, with around 2,500 tickets sold. The This is a quick snapshot of our major events. I do like to mention each time that we show this that these are the major events. So it could be a international, an NCAA event. Outside of these major events, we also do each week a whole slew of smaller events. They could be local, regional events in all of the sports that we have venues to provide. But these are the larger ones that our events team will work on. And again, two to highlight Skate America in November, and also the addition of Women's ECAC Hockey Championships. So we have, we've hosted men's ECAC for a number of years, but this will be the first time that we have the tournament as well.
Do we have this online so people can print this out?
There's a I don't believe this exact one is online. If it is not yet, we can share it. A lot of times it's venue specific or it shows everything. So this is a condensed. Maybe.
Really nice.
There's a country fan that World Cup finals is a pretty big deal too. That's in the third week of March.
Thank you. So cross country skiing at Olympic is the World Cup finale, and we ticket sales online about 2 days ago and saw 1,100 tickets sold in one day.
Yeah.
So we're like having pre-Olympic things and even
Post-Olympic.
things for that. Somehow we ought to be able to advertise that more. I mean, you're going to see the actual ones you see on television competing.
Yeah. So each of the mountains and the Olympic Jumping Complex has their Fall Fest lineup. So Oktoberfest at Whiteface is the first on September 27th to the 28th. Bel Air will run theirs for 2 weekends again. So the week before October 4th to the 5th and October 11th to the 12th. Gore is also running October 11th to the 12th, and then the Flaming Leaves Festival is the same weekend. So a lot of activity. We do see quite a lot of visitors, particularly on the scenic gondola rides for Whiteface on the highway as well, as we're in full bloom of the leaf season.
Geez, cool.
That's amazing.
That's your best video.
Done. Yeah.
Go. Great report, Ashley. Thank you.
Guys, just one more quick question. You know, we were the backup for the sliding sports, for the Olympics. Are we getting any benefit from that or recognition or other than that we're top notch now?
Well, how about the look
Stuff.
of the new run
I know, in the thing I saw it and I thought, wow.
wood instead of plastic?
Yeah. Is there a way to get some recognition or some publicity for that? Or do we get any new things?
Champs.
Yeah, so I think there's a few things. So we got quite a bit of publicity during the.
Yeah, everybody's still asking me. if we're getting-
And certainly within, the International Olympic Committee, with the international federations, they really saw that we stood up, we raised our hand, and we were there to help support, should it be necessary. And those relationships have certainly expanded, and the way that we're viewed, not just, we've always been viewed as a very good venue, but now seeing the support that we were willing to offer and give towards the sports has certainly gone a long way.
Do any of them come here and practice?
Yeah. So
Okay. That might be.
Yeah, and so that we get a lot of, even in the summer when the facility is closed with the ice house, we have countries from all over that will come here and train and use that facility because there's one here and there's one in Calgary, Canada. There's no others. So we get a lot of influx of people coming here and training. And then during the winter, even outside of the World Cup racing, we get a lot of internationals, particularly those. We work a lot with international federations on either emerging nations or development programs. So this upcoming season, we're hosting it's called a North American Cup in the sliding sports. And it's really the lower level. We work a lot with them on offering that. We help sometimes even from the coaching standpoint, just to ensure that we are getting more people into the sport, that we're helping to grow it. And that continues to be a really positive partnership that we have with those organizations.
That's really interesting to hear because that's great that, and these people could come and practice here or, people could watch them too.
Yes.
Thank you.
I have two thoughts. I get myself in trouble, but it won't be the first time. First of all, touring this place, coming to this Olympic, Paralympic training center is just always inspiring to me. And I'd like to maybe begin a conversation about how we as an organization are looking at our venues for supporting the athlete with unique needs. I've been approached, as you know, by a gentleman who's at Gore, where they have really built a robust adaptive skiing program about something called a tetra ski, which he hopes to be able to bring to ORDA. And I'd really like us to support that because it would raise visibility about what's possible. But I also don't want to raise visibility too much when I know at Bel Air, our program just isn't where it once was. And if we raised visibility, that would be wonderful. Having a paraskier come there and an influencer perhaps, that would be great. But I'd really like to see our programming get caught up again because we have young people in our community who used to have alternative skiing opportunities and adaptive opportunities, and they don't anymore. And I'd really like to go back there. And I don't know where it is on the radar, but I had to say it just because this place, you can't be here without being really inspired. And so if we can kind of put that on our radar, I'd appreciate it. The other thing, and this is very personal to Bel Air Mountain. I grew up at the Overlook Lodge. There's a lot of ways that this organization and our leadership could have responded to the difficulties with the construction. And I'll be emotional here, want to personally thank you and your team. When it was very clear there were some issues, you made the very steadfast, steady, visionary decisions about the long term. You did not take care of the short term. You did, because we had a great season last year, even though there were some bumps in the road. We'll have a great season this year too, if there are bumps in the road. But it's not easy when you're under pressure to make the decisions that may have a short-term pain for a long-term gain. And protecting that lodge was important to a lot of people. And I'm just not sure that people understand how hard it is when you're in that situation. So I want to thank you.
Well, appreciate it, but I have to throw it back to the Bel Air team because
Oh, they're good.
ground and, you know, it's been a difficult run for them. And they've just done an excellent job at adapting and moving.
Yeah, they're a great crew.
So I'll interject and give a shout out to our own Emily Stanton.
Thank you.
Jumped in during a transition in leadership at Bel Air and during a, challenging time. So thank you, Em, for doing that. I know.
Can't always say that.
Any other comments or questions for Ashley?
Buckle up.
I was going to say to you.
I think she's been buckled up.
Since there's no old business on the agenda, we're going to move on to new business. 7 proposed resolutions. Could I have a motion to adopt resolution 565? Resolution approving the chair's appointments of the Olympic directors. Could I start with a motion?
I'll make that motion, Betty.
All right, Betty,
I'll second Diane.
and Diane, and does anyone have any questions? I will propose an amendment. I've been contacted by Gigi, who has, as a new board member, has asked not to be on a committee to start with. I think she would like some time to transition from a lot of present commitments to commitments at the authority. So she's asked to be removed. There's no requirement, of course, for a board member to be on a committee. So I'd like to amend the resolution, just remove Gigi from the governance committee. And I'll need a motion to amend resolution 565 to remove Gigi as a member of the governance.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you very much. All in favor of the motion to amend?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion to amend carries unanimously. All in favor of resolution number 565 as amended?
I'll
The
make,
first one was on the motion to amend, the second one is on the resolution as
So
amended.
this is the vote as
This is-
it's already dealt.
Yes.
I'm in.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Resolution, could I have a motion to adopt resolution 566, a resolution committing operating funds and granting approval for the president and CEO to enter into agreements of insurance?
I'll make that motion, Betty.
Moved by Betty, seconded by Jen. So the information about this resolution was included in the committee report, but if there are any other questions or concerns, we vote. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I heard something, but,
Aye.
okay, all ayes. Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Could I have a motion to adopt resolution 567, a resolution committing operating funds and granting approval for the president and CEO to enter into an agreement for professional auditing services? Once again, we talked about this in committee. Could I have a motion? Moved by Bill Beebe,
Second, Joe?
second by Joe Zaluski. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. I have a motion to adopt resolution 568. Resolution committing operating funds and authorizing the president and CEO to enter into electricity supply agreements for Bel Air Mountain, Gore Mountain, and Whiteface Mountain.
I'll make the motion.
Billy Jones makes the motion,
I'll second it.
seconded by Betty. Ashley, if you would give us a background on this. It's always a pleasure to hear about the second one. operating expenses.
That's my bullet point. So as Joe mentioned, electrical is our second highest operating expense. So our current agreements for Whiteface, Gore, and Bel Air all expire on December 31st of this year. So this resolution allows us to begin the process of receiving quotes. And then when the pricing is available and when we receive the quotes, we have a very short turnaround time for when we need to actually enter into the contract. So this allows us the opportunity to react quickly when the best opportunities present themselves. Just as an overview, our current pricing at Bel Air is around 7 cents per kilowatt. Gore is at almost 9. Whiteface is at 6. An increase in just 1 cent at Bel Air equates to around $75,000 in additional expense. And at Gore and Whiteface, that 1 penny increase is around $140,000. So obviously a very important item, and this allows us the flexibility to react quickly when the market to be at the most advantageous point. So.
Questions?
Yes. I'm concerned about the grid in general. I don't know if this is a challenge at other locations, but I know as we look to the future, because we continue to grow at Bel Air and at, I think, Gore and Whiteface as well, which is a great problem. But that expansion is going to cost more. My understanding, there were some challenges. I know Mike and I talked about it a fair amount with the region and the size of the capacity of the grid down there. Where are we with that? And is that something we need to keep looking at? When I say we, I mean ORDA and our region, because I have some folks down there asking this question. And
so if there was an expansion, a larger expansion at Bel Air or anywhere in that surrounding area that needed additional power, that substation would have to be upgraded. While we have expanded there, we have also made investments in energy efficiency. So while we're adding more, we're also using less in some realms. So we've been able to, the amount of power that we have access to at Bel Air, we can manage and run fully at full capacity because of a lot of those upgrades. But as a region, if there were major developments in the area or wanted a major expansion of Bel Air, that substation would still have to be upgraded.
or any other major investments in terms of buildings.
Yep.
Okay. All right. We'll be talking.
Any other questions? Could I have a motion to move resolution 568?
We have
Just
need a vote.
We're voting.
Just need a vote. Sorry.
Vote. It's okay.
Track. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. May I have a motion to adopt resolution 569, a resolution committing capital and authorizing the president and CEO to enter into agreements for the 128-meter jump tower improvement project?
So moved, Art.
Moved by Art,
Second.
seconded by Jen. Ashley? Background info.
So the 128 tower, the largest tower at the ski jumping complex, that is not only utilized for athletes, but it's also utilized for guests with the elevator and the outdoor observation deck, observation decks. There's one on each side of it. So there's a need to do some structural improvements to it. Currently, the observation decks are closed and the only access that athletes have to the actual jumping portion of it is via the exterior stairs. So this preliminary work that the resolution is for allows us to begin that work and reopen those observation decks and allow athlete access to the tower. It is preliminary. There would be additional work in the future that would be necessary to continue those improvements, but this is a great solution. Get us open.
Any questions?
What's the long-term plan for those decks?
Part of this is that it allows us time to properly plan, design, and engineer the long-term plan, so it is not complete. We went through a number of evaluations and decided that from a the standpoint of being able to have the guest access and it opened, and also financially what the impact may be for the long term. If we can have more time to evaluate, find out what, what might be necessary and what we want the future of it to be, that this allows us the time to do so and plan properly. So we don't.
And so this would allow the athletes to get up there, but it wouldn't allow guests. Yeah.
Yep, guests will still go up there currently. The elevator's still in use, but the access to the jumping platform, you have to go up the elevator and across the observation decks. The observation decks are closed. So the athletes for the summer training have been just walking up the stairs to access it. This initial work will allow those observation decks to open for the guests and the athletes. So open again.
And what's the capital amount to that we're
It's a not to exceed of 500,000.
500? Yeah.
There will be a longer-term cost at some point, but
Yes.
we will be back to the board for that. And this gives us the time to properly evaluate it. I think we've learned from some past experience that with rush, we can make decisions too quickly, and the solutions aren't necessarily the most efficient from either a cost or use perspective. So I think this is one place where we should study this, figure it out, the short-term solution, and get the long-term solution right.
I would just add, while we're thinking thoughtfully like this, that we also include in that plan a plan for the 40 and the 70.
For what?
For the 40-meter jump and the 70-meter jump. They've been neglected, and it's our youth programs that are starting on the smallest hills on the far left of this picture, but there's no way to transition from that jump to the 90.
Or it's talking about the future of the sport and
Yeah.
training young
Yeah,
athletes.
right.
You got a 10, a 20, and a 48. We're missing the transition
Right.
up to the big hills. So young athletes have to go elsewhere. So I think Art is suggesting that we continue to explore the possibility of the interim slopes that would give us the full complement of training facilities for.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the ski jumps are so obvious when you come to Lake Placid.
You just,
And going, and it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be a competition at all, just watching anybody ski jump off that. And if we don't have the young athletes practicing and working their way up to that, we're going to diminish that attraction.
thanks for that, Art.
And I will say all summer long when, it's our local kids training. So these are not high level jumpers, but they're training and, I don't know, whoever the MC is or whatever. I have guests come back constantly saying what a great time it is and how they can't believe those kids are doing that. And these kids are like 12. I mean, they're so young, and so really like people walk away from that. They don't forget it. They
cool.
talk about it for a long time.
It's just
after
cool.
that.
I saw Nina Lucy jump at 10 years old. And I mean, I thought about that for a long time afterwards. But it's amazing, but it is a very important part of our attractions. And I think we have to continue to grow, not to get
I agree.
too.
Art's suggestion will become part of the record here. Thank you, Art.
Yeah.
All in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Could I have a motion to adopt Resolution 570, a resolution committing capital and authorizing the president and CEO to enter into agreements, the 1980 Herb Brook Arena Improvement Project? Let me get the motion first.
Second.
By Billy, second by Diane. Ashley?
So the resolution is looking at adding LED ribbon boards to the outside of the arena. So it would be off of ice level around the band of seating there. It's on each ends of the arena. It currently will operate with our technology system that we have in place. This adds a modern, to the arena, allowing real-time scoring. It's also, from a revenue perspective, allows us to increase our sponsorships and our advertising because it is a premier area, and it's one that doesn't require us from a sustainability standpoint to every time produce a new sign, should we have a new sponsor. It allows quick turnover of advertising, and also some of the celebratory, you see here, we do a lot of things outside of just events. We'll hold celebrations and other opening ceremonies and activities. And so this is not just for the sports side, but also for if we are to add concerts and others, we've got additional visuals that will enhance the experience.
On those rock bands.
There we go.
Questions?
It's a no-brainer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. I have a motion to adopt Resolution 571, Resolution Committee Capital and granting approval to the President and CEO to enter into an amendment to the agreement with the Lake Placid Olympic Museum. I have a motion, please.
I'll make that motion, Betty.
Okay. By Betty,
Second.
second by Bill. Ashley?
So the new Olympic Museum has a huge success. The team has done a great job at marketing it. They do a ton of programs with school groups, with some of the bus tours that come through. And one of the things that we're looking at is just changing up some of the exhibits that are there so we can get repeat visitations and just offer something new at the museum. So the proposal is for a Snow on Demand exhibit, which highlights the Olympic Authority's commitment to sustainability, innovative technologies, and leadership in preserving winter sports culture. So it would be a changeover of some of the current exhibits into this new Snow on Demand, and it'll feature different highlights of winter sport and how we create winter and keep winter across the venues.
So does that mean that we're going to educate people on how we make snow or ice?
One of the sections
Okay.
is on snowmaking and the efficiencies and how with the changing in climate adapted.
About like how much more efficient we've gotten at the bobsled run.
There's sessions that include snow and ice for each of the venues.
Great.
I will say every time, all the busy weekends up here, there's always a lot outside of the museum. It'd be great, sort of the facts and figures of attendance at the meeting, because it really seems to anecdotally that it's been a big success, and people that come out of the museum always just glow about it. I know I do.
It's impressive.
Really?
And when you have a museum, you have to keep exhibits
Right.
fresh. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Part of
When
the,
you tell people about how we make snow more efficiently with less water, less energy, they're fascinated listening. To be able to watch and see it
yeah,
is going to be fabulous.
my nerdy grandson will want to see it right away.
All in favor?
Would this include creating a storage facility for the exhibits that you took out? Or do we need a space to put some of the exhibits?
There's a good practical question, Bill. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I know how constrained it is in the rink.
Yeah, so this doesn't include an expansion of any storage or anything. The museum does a very good job with protecting the archives and their storage. I believe they even store some of the stuff in Maine, some of the photo archives. So I'll have to find out more information on where the things will go that are coming out as we add new things online. But this does not include any space or storage for those items. This is just for the exhibit.
To your point,
That's something to think about.
yeah, we'll
from-
find out where the stuff is going and how it's going to be stored. Good question.
Well, the history is a lot of stuff through the years has been lost.
Yeah. It's a big problem at Bel Air.
Thanks, Bill. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. And I think that, just to the end of the day, any other final comments, questions?
I actually have a question about is it public, the process of the Main Street one?
How is the
there's a building in front of the Olympic Center. Is that public?
Yes.
So that,
So did the sale went through?
yes,
That's
we
my
closed,
question.
okay,
Yep.
yes, we closed on the, on the property. It has been being utilized for some programming, and we're working on the final designs and plans for you now.
Great.
Bill, you had a question?
I wanted to ask Chris, Chris, are you all set for the upcoming weeks? With the
We
Ryder
are
Cup?
indeed. I don't know if I'm set, but Beth Page is definitely set. They are ready to go and on top of everything. It's gonna be a very exciting time.
Exactly. Thank you for that.
It's all about recreation.
It is indeed.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Anything from our video participants? Close?
Nope, exciting things.
Sound good?
Oh,
We can do it after.
oh, go ahead.
So there's an invitation for those of us that were touring the facility earlier to join a start of the Olympic trial process at the Luge Building at 4 o'clock to have their annual start championships. So 4 p.m. across the street, everyone's welcome.
Yeah, we were encouraged to attend if we can. Great. Thanks, Ashley. Okay, unless there's any other items, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Diane,
Second.
seconded by Billy, or
Sure.
third by Art. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Meeting is adjourned at 2:29 p.m. on Friday, 19th. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.